Good evening, everybody. Welcome to What's on Joe Mind. It's Friday night. It's 9 o'clock, so you must be here. Joe Colton is front and center, so everybody can see her Christmas Hiss Tank shirt. And her crazy Christmas room is back at a slightly different angle. We don't have giant Santa looming over your shoulder this week.
No, I've got you can't see him. There's a tiny Santa behind me.
Right. I've no doubt.
At least 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But I'm Mike Irizarry. Welcome. How's everybody? As you can see, joining us on the big screen, the queen of G.I. Joe cosplay. It's Joe Colton, everybody.
Hi, guys. Happy Friday. We're so close to Christmas.
Happier for you than most is what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
The closer we get to Christmas itself, the more insane she gets. And this is after 6 years of doing this show. We got a couple of steps left to ramp too, so be ready.
I kind of think I have an idea what Christmas is like for Joe, but I'm wondering what's the 26th like? Is that Boxing Day?
Yeah.
So it's another holiday.
Yeah.
So
it's like get up early and you just go. Wes did it once. He's like, I'm never doing that again with you. Like,
so
you're like pushing kids out of the way.
They had Black Friday way ahead of us. On the 27th, though, are you just like a mess? Just like a puddle?
I'm chill. And then that's usually the day I drive home from Canada.
For the 3 hours she's awake, she's pretty chill.
Yeah, and then when I become a puddle is in the middle to the end of January when it all comes
and it
feels time to start packing up.
It feels so far away.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I just figured there has to be an equal and opposite reaction at some point, right?
Yeah, there's and nostalgia and tears and stuff. But this year, my plan is to. So mom is getting her booster, yay, on the 29th of December. So then I'm going to give her 2 weeks and then I'm going to go get her. So I have to keep it up
so
for her to enjoy.
You're going back to the motherland 3 different times in a 2-month span?
Yeah.
That's got to be good for the soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm no longer working 13-hour days. It's great.
It'd be good for your mom to get back down to the States, visit the Stanley Cup and stuff.
Yeah, last time she was last time she was here, there was a prior administration.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Now you're bringing me down.
I'm sorry.
She missed the Stanley Cup reference completely.
Yes, I didn't hear it. Sorry.
Oh, I just said it'd be good for your mom to get back to the States so she can visit the Stanley Cup and all. Yeah, that's how it is.
But, joining me in the top row, full of cluttered icons, just like me, it's the Hot Show, Mark Weber.
That's right. And all I want for Christmas is a great big toy cabinet behind me so I can prove I'm legit.
Why don't you get one of those posters that just has stickers of fandoms that you like?
It's a good idea. Or I could get a
fake bookshelf next to it with just really pristine books that you just went and got.
Right. That's a good idea. Like all those lawyers on TV in front of the bookshelves, the books they haven't opened.
And they sit like this all the time.
Right. I want to help you because I know how to do this, for God's sake.
I too am a fan. Have you read?
Have you been injured in an accident?
But if you're watching us on YouTube tonight, thank you for joining us. Please be sure to go down, hit the little thumbs up and like our video. Subscribe to our channel. If you're not, about 25% of you don't subscribe. That's craziness. We really need subscribers. If there's one thing you can do for us to help us out the most, that's it. We really would appreciate it. If you're watching us on Facebook tonight, go ahead and leave us some kind of emoticon thingy. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a heart. Give us a little huggy guy. Somebody's already left us a laughing guy because Joe Colton was freaking out in the first minute or two of the video. So it's okay. We love them all. We'll take them all. So long as we're interacting, then that makes Facebook push us along a little bit more each and every week.
I wasn't crazy. I'm just excited.
I'm looking in the comments. We're being visited by royalty. It's good to see Hoodie Coder Commander.
Yes, I was
back on the prowl.
Welcome.
And Road Pig John, who thinks I look like Ripcord. Is that
you kind of do?
Is that classic or movie Ripcord?
You're kind of a combination of both. No, you're far too pale.
Well, if I look like Ripcord, yeah, I was going to say it's a good thing they're making Night Force Ripcord.
I mean, you're
exactly
too pale.
Where I should hang out.
You're too pale to be classic Ripcord.
Yeah, well,
like even he's got more melatonin than you do.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, who doesn't, right?
Right.
But yeah, I'm more classic than movie, I think.
He's got that John Wayne head, the classic figure. So I always who I always thought he looked like.
I actually got a new hat this week, 7 7/8, just like I like, and I put it on and it was way too tight. And I'm like, I got Barry Bonds ASU syndrome, and my head is just getting larger as I age. But it turns out it was just either mislabeled or mismade because I got a different hat at the same time, same size, fits perfect. So I'd like to think New Era can apologize for making me freak out because I can only go up one size, right? There ain't nothing beyond 8.
No, there is.
Is there?
Oh yeah, they'll make you an 8 1/4. They'll make you yeah.
And then you can just sit behind the cage and go, I was once a man.
Right. It's about like that shopping for hats because I'm in that 7 7/8, 8 range myself. So
I don't want to hit 8, man.
And it's
that's
not
like a notch on your belt you don't want to go to. So
it's not. Look. I mean, I'm speaking as somebody with weight problems. My hat size has remained remarkably consistent through all of them. So,
I just don't want to get to Bruce Bochy level, right? There are some guys in baseball when they got traded, they got to bring their batting helmet with them.
Right.
Because nobody else needed it, and the new team would never have one ready for them, and you can't bat without it, so they would just paint over it.
Yeah, it was. You could see the blatant cheap sticker that he would just kind of slap on the front because nobody was going to silk screen that on.
I forget if it was his hat or his batting helmet, but Bochy could put a full 6-pack inside his hat.
Yeah, I think he wore an 8 1/4.
Oh, I don't want to be there.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think you have to worry about it so much.
Well,
unless you get a bad case of encephalitis or some kind of a head wound.
It was a scary moment for me when 7 7/8 didn't fit. But
Joe Colton, it's your birthday tomorrow, isn't it?
Uh-oh.
Well, happy birthday, Joe Colton.
Thank you.
Any big plans you want to share?
So I have no idea what's happening. I was informed that the Margaret Kogan is going to come get me.
The Margaret.
At some point in the morning or lunch. I think we're going to do brunch because I wake up early and she wakes up early. So and everybody else is asleep. And so she was given a vague time frame, but basically she has to have me back at the house at 5.
Look, there is no better meal than brunch.
Right.
They give you booze. It's breakfast food at like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just bacon. I mean, brunch is incredible. Guys who complain about brunch don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. So if I can get a lobster Benedict tomorrow, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh,
birthday. Right. That's what I want.
Go.
And with bacon on the side, or crumbled on top. Ooh.
It's brunch. Bacon is mandatory.
Yeah. And so then after that, we were going to go see. So at the National Harbor, they used to do these giant ice sculptures. But they can't do that now because of COVID and everybody being close and giving people jackets to wear in these giant ice igloos. So they were going to do scenes from famous Christmas movies. And we didn't get tickets because she didn't think that anybody would want to go see them. Fully booked. So what we're doing is, in cosplay fashion, we are going to be going to fabric stores. and picking out fabric together. Right?
Exactly.
I don't know who they are. I don't know who complains about them. I'm not friends with people who complain about brunch. I give them the boot. So yeah, so we'll be doing that. Guys who complain about brunch are just trying to get. Oh.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yes.
Good point, Jake. Good point.
Yeah. Yeah,
Good
I didn't
point.
think of that. Sly dogs. So, so we're gonna do that, and I don't know what else she's got me doing. So, like with that amount of time, she and I could like probably go to Pennsylvania in a snowstorm and come back.
Well, depending on DC traffic, or you can get to Silver Spring and back.
Right, we'd be
or Chevy Chase, which is a place.
Yes, and the one fabric store that we need to go to is in Silver Springs.
There you go. Go to Armand's Pizza. So good. Just saying.
But brunch.
Remember, I have friends in Silver Spring. You have people you could visit.
Yeah, that's true.
See?
But brunch. Can't mix brunch and pizza.
Yeah, you won't be full till you won't need food till when? If you get everything you want at 11.
Yeah.
That'll get you to dinner, won't it?
No, I need a snack at like 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Go get a slice of Armand.
You forget, Mark. She's an eater.
I love
it. Eater.
Joe Colton is an eater. She is a competitive eater. She is a champion.
And I eat a lot and I drink. So can you imagine Maggie brings me back sloshed to my whatever's happening, and I'm like, hi.
Sounds like you're hitting all the high points here. You got eating, you got driving like a maniac.
Yeah.
You got some cosplay mixed in.
Yep.
Or at least the pre-cosplay.
Yep.
You get some G.I. Joe and some
probably
drinking and some Santa Claus.
Yes.
In the rest of the day. Kind of a perfect birthday. A little West mixed in, maybe sprinkled on top.
Yeah. So he's doing something. I was like, so I asked one of our friends, Julie, I was like, are you going to join us? And she's like, I am busy. And I was like, oh, so he has requested you to help. And she's like, I cannot confirm nor deny. And I was like, please don't let him burn down my kitchen.
Not to interrupt, but our good friend at the surveillance port, Eric, it was his birthday today too.
Oh, happy birthday!
He hates making people say happy birthday, but
no, but we're like almost twins, birthday twins.
There we go. He forced us into saying happy birthday. He hates that.
I wish we had like a TGI Fridays one. We could all sing and clap together and make everybody mad, but.
No, we don't
not prepared.
I don't like the clapping that they do.
Whenever that happens at a restaurant, my big brother, who's like 6'4", 260, it makes him like physically angry. Like I don't even know what he'd do if we ever did it to him. But when that happens in a restaurant, like it's fight time for my brother. And I'm like, dude, it's their job. They don't want to do it. Just let them go.
How they bring home the bacon, man.
Right? Someday he's gonna grab a waiter and just throw him over the bar or something. I'll be like, it's not his fault, man.
And with bringing home the bacon, we've come full circle on brunch.
That's it.
There we go. So what do you say we go ahead and we start tonight with the community calendar?
Ooh, that's a change. Yes.
Well, sometimes. Our big discussion topic tonight is in the news, so let's go ahead and do the rest of it first.
We don't have a sound effect for the community calendar yet.
We do not. No, we'll figure out some kind of a cheesy
jingle.
Yeah, some something for that.
Some fanfare.
Yeah.
Should do like explosions.
I do have the fireworks graphics from when we did the victory lap, so maybe I'll repurpose those.
Let's be honest, we're still doing that victory lap.
Yeah, that's a good.
We're like Mel Hall. We haven't even hit third base. It's like high school. Wait.
We're just like taking our time, like dancing through all the bases.
We're Jimmy Pearsall running backwards.
We almost got to third, and then we started moonwalking.
Oh, we're awful. All right.
Just checking, Mike, in case I missed something. We're still right about everything, right?
Yeah, so far, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, still got it all.
Just checking.
Still knocking it all out. I might be working on some leads for some current news items.
Now we're talking.
I don't know. I don't know if I can trust you.
News rumors. So we'll see if we'll see if they pan out in the next couple of weeks.
I don't trust you, Mike. You're never right.
Name your source, Mike.
Never. Anyways,
it's not real.
First up, it's the Alamo City Toy Show.
Ooh.
And it's happening tomorrow outside of San Antonio, Texas. That is in Live Oak. I'm going to guess that you're going to get your tickets at the door. Visit them on Facebook if you need more details. If you're in the area, in Texas, if you're visiting the Alamo, if you're, I don't know. I got nothing else. I can't plug anymore. I've lost the ability.
But we plugged up to day of.
Yeah.
I think we've done our bit for King and Country here.
Yeah, we certainly have. That is tomorrow. So if you haven't booked those tickets yet, you're a little late. But if you're in the area, by all means, stop in at the Alamo City Toy Show. Tell them What's on Joe Mine sent you. And they will probably look at you a little funny, but whatever. Just get the word out. Hashtag plug the damn show. And then, of course, coming up after that, after New Year's, G.I. Joe Winterfest 2. That is on January 15 of next year in Louisville, Kentucky, at the Hilton Garden Inn, Louisville Airport. And you can visit them at the website that is listed on the screen there, www.kygijo.com/winterfest. Those guys, I know those guys a little bit. We worked with them back when I was doing CoilCon several years ago. Good guys, always a fun show, always a pretty loaded up dealer show. So if you're in the Midwest, Louisville, Kentucky is going to be a good place to be on January 15. Be sure to check that out. And if you have a G.I. Joe show for the community calendar, let us know. And the email address is there, whatsonjoemind@gmail.com. Look, we try to get around, but especially this time of year, I am just not on social media like you guys think I am. So a lot of these things go right by the wayside and have no idea that they happened. And I feel bad when I see 2 days later that something's come and gone and we did not plug it.
Yeah.
So these small convention types work very hard for those small conventions and to provide fans with the opportunity to get out and buy some of this neat retro stuff that they wouldn't normally have. So we like to support them. We like to spread the word as much as we can.
Gems and Christmas gifts during this time if there's small.
Our pal Surveillance Port brings up ToyCon 3, which is tomorrow. If you want to share my screen, I brought up their main page. It's
okay, we'll get that in there.
It's in Orange, Connecticut, which
is
my hair color, so I'm solid with that. If you feel safe going up on Grassy Hill Road, you can check out ToyCon 3 tomorrow, 10 to 3, and Orange, Connecticut. 2 floors of vendors.
What happened to Grassy Hill Road?
I'm sorry. I thought I was thinking about Grassy Knoll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
Totally different concept.
I was like, what's wrong with Grassy Hill?
Right. But yeah, there you go. ToyCon 3. So if you're closer to my neck of the woods,
that's cool.
Head on over to Orange, Connecticut.
There you go. Thank you, Surveillance Port. Next time, send an email.
He's
weeks in advance.
Living up to his name, right?
Yeah.
Sees what's out there.
Well, Mike, instead of telling him to get in touch with you weeks early, why don't you now put this on your list so you can track it?
Well, I would, but it's going to be gone.
It's
tomorrow.
It's
tomorrow.
It's the third one. So next year they're going to have one.
But yeah, we got 11 months or so.
It might be the third one. We'll have to research that because when we have our own convention, we're going to drop in as What's on Joe Mine Con 5, right? Just to seem like we got it rolling.
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, we are.
But What's on Joe Con?
Yeah. Oh.
What?
Anyways, I'm sure that'll get us sued.
Maybe. I know the guy though, so maybe we'll be.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's take a second here. I got up to visit our fun sponsors at Kokomo Toys this week. I gave Todd some donuts as he publicized on Facebook. which he then proceeded to try his best to not share with his family and staff. But Todd loves his donuts, so what are you going to do? It was funny because he took the donuts and ran to the back room and kind of tucked them away in a corner. And then when he left, like I kept offering everybody donuts, and they would be like, "Where are the donuts?" And Todd would have moved them again. So it was good times.
He was in the back with one of them on a finger, calling it my precious.
Yeah, it was good times. But anyways, stay with us. We'll be right back.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
Yes. And I'll let everybody know, too, that next week we will have the rules for our end-of-the-year giveaway. Kokomo Toys has provided us with some wonderful prizes to give out to the dedicated fan. So if you've fallen behind on your What's on Joe Mind viewing, there will be some trivia, and it will be related to the episodes that have taken place in the year 2021. So,
when you say the dedicated fan, it sounds like just one. There's just one out there who's.
I mean, that may be the case.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably Racktime Rob, who's not eligible to win anyway.
Or it might be Cop Boy lurking.
Hey, at least we'll know his name.
You know what? You got to respect that kind of dedication.
We do. But yes, so next week we will have prizes to give away, or prizes to announce, and a contest to explain to you. So you want to make sure that you're checking in with us on the 17th. But it brings us to the news. There we go. And of course, the big news item this week, it's really the only news item this week. It's brand new belt tags.
Oh yeah.
Available at Hot Topic.
Get out of here. You son of a bitch.
I'm so glad this funded.
They are sold individually and blind bagged, so you cannot ask for a specific one. Available at Hot Topic, Box Lunch Entertainment, Earth, and more. As you can see there, available Baroness, Cobra Commander, Crimson Guard, Destro, Duke, Roadblock, Scarlet, Snake Eyes, and Storm Shadow. So basically your normal 8 plus Crimson Guard. And then they have chase tags of Bazooka and Cobra Officer. So
I want that Cobra Officer. He looks so angry. I love him.
he is kind of adorably angry. He is.
It's all in the eyebrows, I think.
That's straight down.
I'm just looking at the other ones and saying, because Duke's got some pretty angry eyebrows.
Yeah, Duke looks a little PO'd, yeah.
Yeah.
Bazooka's kind of got that grim determination going on.
You got a feel for Diana Davis here, right? That there's a new Duke thing in a blind bag.
Oh.
Or she'll probably just do the eBay thing, right?
I mean, he's not one of the tough to find ones though. So
but still.
I wonder if you can get the code on the back, like if there's or feel them.
No, not the box, but yeah. Those guys always creep me out, man. Those guys creep me out. The Lego guys,
right?
Going through feeling the blind bags to see where the giant axe is or something, and I'm like, even pre-COVID, that was creepy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was one of those creepy guys.
Were you?
Yeah, but Joe, it's different for you because we know you wash your hands once in a while.
Yeah.
See, some of those guys not so much because we can smell them from 6-8 feet away.
Yeah.
So we know they're not washing much of anything.
So I would get them as the guy was coming out of the back room or opening the boxes and be like, "Can I just take a peek?" And they'd feel sorry for me and be like, "Sure."
Feel sorry for you.
Yeah, that works for you and for almost nobody else, but
right.
I'd wear pigtails and no makeup, and I'd be like,
"Feel sorry for you" is hey, here's a cheap attempt to score. Now, obviously, they don't know that that's not going to happen, but whatever.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys a guy came up to me and tried to mansplain Marvel action figures to me? And I was like, go on.
I think
Tell
you
me about
did. I think you did to us off program, but I don't think
No.
you did for the benefit of our audience.
Wes just like watched, and then he like walked away slowly.
I think that's awesome that he just let it happen.
How far did you let him get?
Quite a bit. He like picked
Okay.
up the figure and he was explaining articulation. I was like, "Ooh, tell me what it's really like. Go on, keep going." Have you spent $1,500 on a set? No. Shh.
That's October Guard, yeah.
Just go over there.
And you know what? Worth it.
For his-
Great.
for
set.
her Golden Girls Castle, whatever that is.
Oh, I saw one at RetroCon. I almost bought it, but then
What was the damage?
damage was 400. The guy didn't know what he had. And
Oh, clearly.
he was like, "You don't need another one." And I was like, "But it's in a box."
That's like Daryl bouncing back to the booth at a J-Con with a Cobra Bug. I'm like, I know you have that. He's like, I know, but it's in really good shape.
For 400, you might have needed that because then you could have flipped that around for at least twice that.
It's priceless. Like the ones on eBay go for like over $1,000.
I mean, Palomo would have probably offered
His right arm.
his right arm, and
Is
you
he
don't need
left-handed?
that, but maybe $1,000.
Yeah. I wouldn't do that to him. I'd do that to an unknown. Don't you know who I am? Wes says it to people. He's like, "Don't you know who she is?" Like as like just. I'm like, stop.
Star of Stage Scream and Instagram.
Hate you all.
Anyway, look, we're not wrong.
I'd like to think if I ever reached a level of fame that I could drop a "Don't you know who I am," that I would know better than to drop a "Don't you know who I am."
I don't. Yeah, no. Do you know him? William does it, and I was like,
William does?
"You know who I am?" No, no one knows who you are. You don't remember anyone's name.
It's only good if you're being ironic, right?
Yes. I'm hoping
Otherwise, you'd be
he's got an accent. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, are you gonna keep playing with this? Is like the big freaking reveal?
This is it. Yeah, that's the news. Good night,
Shut
everybody.
up.
No, of course.
Yeah!
It's the Skystriker. And I'll be honest, I was looking forward to this a lot because now it means we can have a couple of weeks where I don't talk about the Skystriker.
right.
Like I believe me, I love this project. I'm glad it funded. I was thrilled about it.
I was nervous.
I did quite a bit of tweeting on Tuesday, despite the fact that I worked a 12-hour shift on Tuesday, and just every time I had a free moment, I was checking this out because I was really stressing this one out. So I'm thrilled about it, but I am also thrilled that now I can go a couple of weeks without having to talk about Skystriker stuff that much. So
After tonight, you mean?
yeah, after tonight. I mean, again, it's okay tonight, but after tonight, whew.
I mean, it's number one with a bullet, right? Like we were wondering
absolutely.
early in the day if it would get to 10.
Yeah,
So-
I was sweating a little bit. I was like, ooh.
That last 24 hours.
Make it. And I was like,
That last 24 hours, 9,000 backers came out of the woodwork thereabouts. So it was, it came a long way in a short period of time. 16,700 plus. That number is steadily coming. It's coming down a little bit just because some people are canceling some extras that they booked.
oh,
Think, oh, hey, this needs the help. I need to get another one. Hang on to questions for just a minute. We're going to talk about this for just a minute. So I'm not looking for questions just yet. So keep that. We will ask for them later. We've left some time for you guys to throw some questions at us. So just be cool. We're not ignoring you so much just yet. But yeah, 9,000 backers came out of the woodwork. So that number's come down a little bit. It's still over 16,700. I don't figure it's going to come down a whole lot more than that. We should still be comfortably over 16,000 when it's all done.
mm-hmm.
But hey, Hey, nothing to be sorry about. I wanted to let you know that yes, we got you, but but yeah, we're not ignoring you. That's all. I don't want you to type it 4 times thinking that we missed you. We didn't miss you. We got you. You're good, Joe Self. We're happy you're here, sir.
So,
but
now I haven't backed that many Kickstarters, truly, and I know there is a last day bump pretty much always, right? But
sure.
this is kind of ridiculous, right? Isn't it?
That was a big last day bump. Yeah.
It was more than half of the orders came on the final day.
Yeah, it probably in the last 16 hours.
Yeah. So what do you attribute that to?
I think the fear of missing out is part of it. I think a lot of folks who had maybe a little bit of a persnickety complaint was like, you know what? There's that one thing I don't like, but there's a whole lot of things that I do like. And so that they kind of turned around and went in it. I think some folks who were torn between the Rancor and the Skystriker,
Right.
Once the Rancor failed, I think some of them, came over.
Did they plan that, you think? To have the Rancor end a day early? I mean, a day before?
I don't know, because I don't know how that's set up.
Because that was, and again, when I was there, the Pulse was just barely off the ground, and
Sure.
HasLab wasn't even really being talked about yet. But one of the large complaints from the general fan community was that they put out 3 big ticket, kind of same demographic, classically anyway, toys from HasLab at the same time. So I definitely think there was at least a little bit of a Rancor bump.
Oh, I would think. I mean, probably several hundred.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was most of it, but I think it was at least enough to be a viable percentage.
It surprises me because I knew there would be a significant last day bump because most Kickstarters have that. And then when the Rancor ended the day before, which I wasn't tracking that much because I wasn't interested in it, I went, okay, well, maybe they'll get some of those people who had to do an either or, who really wanted the Rancor but weren't going to get it. Now they can allocate money somewhere else, and they came over. But it feels like there was some other third party and I know this is the weirdest thing that people are complaining about, that scalpers, are buying a bunch of Skystrikers. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
Did you get yours?
There wasn't a limited amount. To be frustrated by a scalper needs to be that he was taking something off the peg that you also wanted at that price.
Yeah.
And
right.
that argument doesn't hold water at all.
It is inherently flawed, because if you wanted one off of the peg at that price, go get one. It was there for you. They're making these to order. And
if you wanted to flip one, you could have, right? As long as you confront, the price of admission. Yeah.
I think that a lot of that is just, sadly, and we don't cater to that audience here. So maybe the folks who we deal with on a regular basis aren't as plugged into that. But I mean, some people they're going to be negative just for the sake of being negative.
Right.
I mean, if you want to go back, one of the funniest days in YouTube history, I think, was Tuesday afternoon. Because everybody who made look at the Rancor fail, now the Skystriker's going down, everything sucks, Hasbro, blah, 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 blah. All the hate videos rolled out on Thursday afternoon. And I just remember I was flipping through YouTube. I didn't watch any of them, just saying to myself, this thing's going to fund, and this is going to look really silly in about 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, it funded, and the world decided, hey, Mike from What's on Joe Mind said we were going to get Scarlet and Ripcord, so we better get on it and get to Scarlet and Ripcord because Mike doesn't miss on predictions.
Correct.
And that's exactly what happened. You're welcome.
I love that the rush to be first is so much more desperate than the need to be right.
Yeah.
So a lot of YouTube videos got canceled later that day, I bet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't find them anymore.
Mm.
Can't find them anymore. A lot of Hasbros went by the wayside.
Well, this is overall, bottom line, it's great that this funded and ended up funding healthily, because we all get the stretch goal stuff that was unlocked is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the worry for me was if it didn't fund, it might be a long time before we saw another G.I. Joe HasLab item. So
Yeah.
even if this wasn't for you, even if you didn't want it and didn't order it, you should be happy that it was a big success.
Yeah.
Because maybe the next one is a classified G.I. Joe offering, and that's what you wanted. Or maybe it's something brand new like the Aspid. Cool. Maybe we'll get that next time, but I feel pretty confident that there will be a next time for G.I. Joe because this one ended up funding so handily.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm thinking that we can play fantasy booking with this in a minute, but I would think that the next project has to be some kind of classified something, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised that they didn't start with that, because going with O-Ring, to me, only makes sense if it's really kicking off an O-Ring program, and we've really heard no whisper of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, well, maybe this was the roll of the dice. Maybe this is the, hey, do we have enough of a fandom out there for these to support this sort of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, could this to take the words off the Steve Allen song? This could be the start of something big.
Mm-hmm.
So, but and so yeah, here's part of what we get. We get the cloth parachutes on the removable ejector seats from the cockpit, and there is Ace and Wayne Ruthel and the refueling cart and the missile cart, and there are our 3 Cobra figures. We also get a Cobra logo sheet if you want to doctor up your Skystriker to where it's a Cobra jet. Have at it; it'll be there for you. But there's a Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander and a Cobra pilot in the blissful Sunbow mold with the bare hands. I don't understand that, but sure. And then, of course, Cobra Flight Crew. He's not ketchup or mustard, but he's Cobra's guy. And he's got a mortar for some reason, but he's there. He's part of the package. We funded at 10,000 units. He's in.
I think it's awesome that he's got the parking lightsabers, but also a mortar if you don't listen.
Right.
Right? Like this way. No! Bam! Another rattler down.
There we go. Classified Buzzbore.
I passed on the Buzzbore as a kid, and
I don't blame you.
I just got it this year, and it's kind of cool, actually.
Buzzbore versus Road Toad.
Right,
Ultimate Battle Pack.
Don't they have to give Lieutenant Wayne Ruthel a code name, assuming there are file cards?
I would think so. I would think so. I mean, with that pit crew of ketchup and mustard, doesn't he have to be hot dog? But anyways. Of course, funded also, there's Pilot Scarlet in her groovy sky blue ensemble.
That she wore in her first appearance.
Yeah.
That she wore in her first appearance, right?
Sure, according to somebody somewhere.
I do kind of look like Ripcord.
And then
let's be honest. At this photo, I kind of look like Scarlet too.
It's I mean, Ripcord with his black clothes makes him seem even paler. So
yeah,
it's possible that you do need you're Night Force Ripcord.
He'd look better with the harness on him though, because right now it looks like he's wearing green underwear on top, which is not a good look for anyone.
But anyways,
backwards thong.
Right from the fall collection.
Pilot Scarlet funded at 13,000 units, and Ripcord funded at 16,000 units.
I think it's smart that they went with 2 redheads to really make people get out and buy this figure.
Truly, that was the surge at the end. Everybody was like, wait,
Redhead.
2 gingers.
Ace was a redhead. His figure was.
Yeah, kind of.
Ish. We'll take him.
Reddish.
Dude, we'll take him.
Reddish.
Mm-hmm.
He's not full blown ginger, no.
You say potato, I say redhead. For many are called, if you are chosen.
I was about to say you take that wherever you can, though.
It's funny. Some redheads are super defensive about it, right? Like, well, that's not really red. That's strawberry blonde. I'm like, we're dying out, man. Get on the bandwagon. You can color it as fake as you want. You're just being honest with yourself. Come on board.
The inner redhead is just as important.
Come to Papa Rojo. Come on. Yeah, there's room on the bandwagon.
I don't know what's happening right now. I
Oh,
can't.
Rojo.
Joe, you ever put any red in the hair?
I have a redhead, and
And
I've been more orange, and I've been red.
it looked great, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was the time when she got the most weird, creepy letters.
Probably.
Yes.
Probably.
And also called Lady J a lot more. It's weird.
I don't think the J is a redhead.
No, she's not.
No, not at
No.
all. And I'll take any bare tinge. You get an invite, but Jay's not there.
Nope.
And then, of course, unfortunately, not funded.
Not redheads either.
Well, we don't know. We don't
You
know.
never know.
I'm fairly
But,
confident one of them isn't red hair.
Specialist E4 French Mustard Golden, Specialist E5 Heinz Ketchup Hunt did not fund. Although, they have to make the parts anyway for the Cobra guy, so maybe these guys will turn up somewhere else along the line. But it's a little sad that we're missing out on Flight Crew.
Yeah. But I thought it was fun, but just barely. I wasn't expecting to get any of the stretch goals. So the fact that I bought in expecting to get just what was originally offered, and I'm now going to get all the 3 Cobra figures and 2 other Joe figures that I didn't expect to fund, I'm pretty damn happy right now, right?
Yeah.
Now I think it's faulty logic to say a 3 3/4 figure now is a $20 purchase, right? I don't think that's accurate just because the Snake Eyes Storm Shadow 2-pack is $40. But if at minimum they're $13, right? That's what the last single pack 4-inch Joes were selling for at Walmart. And so now you're getting 7 of those figures. So at minimum, you're getting $91 worth of value in just the figures. And so if you're looking at a $230 price point, it makes it a little more palatable.
Yeah. Especially for a short run situation.
Yeah, with the addition of 5 more 3 3/4 figures. Pretty good.
Yeah. It's the common complaint I've seen in the last week is that folks who did not back this project or any of the projects, not wanting, why can't they just release this at retail?
That's not how it works, man.
Yeah, that's not it. Retailers have to want to sell it,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want to give that kind of space to these type of items right now.
We would hear that all the time at McFarlane Toys because we did event exclusives probably 4 times a year. And it's just like, look, this is where they are. Either be here or have a proxy or pay eBay. That's where it's at. That's why they are event exclusive.
Right. So, we all watched this happen in real time. We'll start with you, Mark Weber. What were your thoughts as we came down the pike on Tuesday and watched this unfold?
I mean, I wasn't watching it super tightly. After it funded, right? When it funded, I'm like, outstanding. I was really hoping it would fund because it's good for the brand. And more, I mean, it's kind of, the flip is actually more true. It's good for the brand that it funded, but it would have been awful for the brand if it didn't. So once it funded, I'm like, hey, cool. And I did not expect it to hit any of the stretch goals. So I wasn't actually that plugged in. And so I was really, really surprised and happily surprised to see that massive bump on the last day. So, and yeah, I would like to have gotten the Flight for guys too, especially because I have a flag. It's all in I would say in pieces like it got smashed, but it's disassembled in the basement. But I'd like to have ketchup and mustard out there on the deck. That'd be great. But you know what? I'm getting more than I originally paid in for, right? I'm getting 5 more 3 3/4 figures. So I'm thrilled with it. For me as a Joe fan and a Joe collector, and as an enthusiast for the hobby and the brand, I'm really glad that the fans stepped up and made such a strong statement about their appetite for 3 3/4 Joe, because obviously the classified line has been doing just fine. So despite the call it a speed bump or a crater of a movie they put out last year, the brand feels like it has momentum again. And
Right.
Classified was doing really well, but I think the Snake Eyes movie was a complete disappointment on a ton of levels. So this makes me feel like the brand has momentum again. And at my core, since 1982, I've been a fan of the brand. So I'm glad that it's got some momentum right now.
And we'll just take a second here to remind everybody, if you're watching this on YouTube tonight, thanks for joining us. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you don't. About 25% of you don't subscribe. If there's one thing you can do to help us out, the absolute most, it is to subscribe. So please hit that subscribe button. If you're watching us on Facebook tonight, give us some kind of an emoticon, give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, give us a huggy guy. We love little huggy guy. But there too, if at some point, if you're on Facebook, head over to YouTube at some point in the near future and subscribe to our channel, even if you don't watch us there. But thank everybody for joining in. If you're catching us on replay, same thing. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate that, and do all the social media things to help us keep growing this channel. Joe Colton. So it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Your job is a bit more relaxed now than it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we know that you're at work.
Yeah.
With a bag of pretzels in front of the television.
Right.
And
that's what I do.
Look, I'm sorry. I couldn't help. I'm projecting a little bit because that's my dream job right there.
Oh.
But bag of pretzels in front of the TV and I'm getting paid. Okay, sure.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what I'm doing, but what was going through your head?
Well, I sent you guys a message and I was like, I don't know if it's gonna fun, guys. Like it was like it hadn't moved, and I was like, we're so close, and yet like so far. Because I've done like Kickstarters before, and I'm like it goes, and then it like drops off, and then it funds, right? Well, it was like it went, it dropped, and then it was a lull, and then it like jumped, and then it stopped, and I was like, So I was like, I don't know. I'm like hopeful, like being positive, but I was like, if it doesn't fund, we're so close. And like if it didn't fund, even by like 200, they wouldn't have funded it. Like they wouldn't say, hey, we're only 200 short. We'll do it anyway. Like that's not how that works, right? So
No. The Rancor failed by less than 500 backers.
Yeah.
It was 8,500 something when it stopped. So no, it wasn't happening. If we got to 9,950, it wasn't happening.
Yeah. So I was like, which means nothing after this for a long time. And then we'd be complaining that we're never getting anything and like nobody does big pieces. And all they would have to do is point to the Skystriker and say, we gave you all these figures. We gave you a really good Skystriker. We gave you all of this extra stuff and these stretch goals, and you didn't try and fund it. Like it just didn't fund. So clearly there's no interest.
That's a good question. Well, I might have to get to work on that. But you bring up an interesting point there, and I think it's something that we haven't mentioned yet. Okay. But Tuesday was the day of that big Amazon outage, the server outage. So I don't know if they were able to keep count in real time. I think they were only able to add to the count in clusters.
No, it was down for a bit. Like they couldn't even do clusters. I don't think they had to like wait.
Yeah, it was. So I think
like there's so many things that are connected to Amazon, like the Ring app, and Amazon owned. Like that was out for like hours.
Mm-hmm. So I think that was adding to the drama a little bit. Yeah,
or stress, whatever.
Yeah,
and people were just buying like everyone's in a frenzy now, right? Like that the Rancor didn't like fund, and so they're like, no, we're never letting anything not fund that we will want. Like.
I don't know. I have not met Joe fans in such proportion. Like there's some Star Wars fans, and I use that term loosely, out there that are just so annoyed by what they see as happening in that brand that they're willing to just burn it down.
You think so?
Yeah. I've probably seen that more in that fandom than any other fandom.
Well,
Like, I haven't encountered. There's a couple of Joe fans that are kind of like that, but like if the folks I know, the folks I know in GI Joe who aren't into the modern product, just stick to their own corner of the fandom, right? Like I've never known any of them that just turn to the rest of the world and say, "You're all going down because this isn't what I like. This is terrible, and you should all be ashamed."
I mean, have you been to a Joe Con?
Yeah. And
we're pretty intense fans, like
look, I get that, but like those Joe Cons used to cater to the 12-inch collectors and the 4-inch collectors, and even though there wasn't a ton of overlap, like everybody still got along on a basic level, right? Like there was some little, punch in the arm kind of kidding going on, but there was never anything that was
clotheslining and
there were never any blood feuds going on between the two scales, right?
I don't think so.
But
I think I would have been like, guys, let's just drink it out.
Right? I mean that does fix it all. But there's some Star Wars folks out there that frighten me a little bit.
Yeah, I had met a Star Wars fan. Because I'm not a big Star Wars fan, I was reciting. The guys make me recite when I'm drinking, like 4, 5, and 6 episodes, and then do like 1, 2, and 3, which shouldn't count. But he was like banana. He was in my house and he was like, "You're ruining my childhood. You're going to hell." And I was like, "Wow, how does it feel that Lando fucked a robot?"
Right? Regularly. On the reg.
And she's sassy.
Right.
And just remember, if you want to support the Joe Colton Swear Jar,
right,
you can find the link down below. We had a big contribution to our coffee account earlier today by one of our monthly subscribers. So we thank you for that. If you do sign up for a monthly subscription to the show, we do feature you at the end of the episode in the closing credits. At some point, we'll figure out tiers and better rewards and all that. But man, it's hard doing all of this alone. So, like I said, we'll get there eventually. So anyways, I didn't mean to cut you off, Joe Colton. Go on.
No, but like going back to this, like when it funded, I was like, oh my God, like not like there's like divine intervention, but almost like, yes, we came together and we made it happen. And like, thanks, Hoodie. But now like, I immediately thought like, what comes next? Like they have to do a classified, right? Like, what can they do? And all I could think of was like, if they do a Terradrome, I'm getting a couple.
See, I think you can't fuel that, Joe, because that's where people go with a classified one. They're like, classified one, could it be a flag?
No.
No, it can't.
But could it?
No.
But what if it did?
Like,
right?
I wouldn't buy into a flag. Like, realistically, where would you, one, put that?
Mm-hmm.
And two, do you really want to dust that thing?
Yeah, come on now. Like
I
mean,
look, I would love a flag, but I would love a house to put a flag in.
Right. You would need a 5,000 square foot house. How many of us Joe fans own a house like that? Like,
maybe they think they'll buy a Terradrome and just live in it, right? Just like, I won't put in the chairs and I can just curl up around ways inside. When the mail comes, I'll just open the fire bat hatch and grab it.
Just put it on the top bunk of the bunk bed.
Right? I think if you're a completely pie in the sky, right? Thinking what's the largest classified item they might ever consider for a HasLab, I think you've got to set the bar about Mobat level, right? Like,
yeah.
I think that's too big.
It could be, but certainly never anything bigger than that, right?
Right.
Because I think Vamp, his tank, sure. But let's do a flag. Let's do a Terradome. Let's do it a hydrofoil. Like, no.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, I would love to see a hydrofoil in the new O-ring line. That would be redesign that a little bit, make that mechanism up in the front part of it work a little better.
Yeah, I love
I'd love that.
And if I were doing it, I'd put in like 4 extra lenses for the searchlight,
Right.
just so people could retrofit them. Make it a slightly different color, right?
Sure.
Like just a little bit of blue in there. But yeah, here's 4.
Or cut a little star in it so it's a or put a little cobra in it to.
Oh, that'd be cool. That it shines a Cobra logo out through it. Yeah, I'm down with that. But I was always like, I feel bad for the guy who's trying to finish a hydrofoil and he's got to drop $80 on a lens. Like, come on.
Yeah, see that's on that short list of parts that I just don't need.
Yeah, for something that's legitimately rare, like an original Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander, or I don't know, a heavy metal microphone, like, okay. But for a throwaway piece of a vehicle that just happened to be expensive and easy to lose, like, I feel bad when people are shelling out $50 or $100 for a tow cable, right? And that's the worst too, because that's one that was just engineered badly. So most of them are broken. So yeah, I really want that piece that doesn't work on my vintage Wolverine or Mauler tank, right? Like, I'm gonna drop $100 on it. Then what are you gonna do with it? Nothing, because it breaks real easy. Like, man.
So, I promised we would do this, but fantasy booking, Mark Weber, what would be the next? Say we're getting towards the third quarter of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for you look to the GI Joe team for another HasLab project. What would you make the call for?
I'm totally doing the Vamp. Absolutely doing the Vamp, because it's an iconic vehicle. It still looks, badass. It doesn't look dated, like some of that early stuff kind of does. And the reuse possibility is through the roof, right? If you do a regular Vamp, then you can come back with a Stinger, and you can come back with a Vamp Mark II, and it's hardly any new tooling. So I'm 100% down for a Vamp, and it's the next kind of size up from, I guess, the Ram would be the biggest vehicle we've gotten so far. So yeah, give me that one size up with lots of reuse possibility.
So obviously that's coming with clutch.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Any other bonuses? Any other?
I mean, you could pre-tool the doors and the roof that come on the Vamp Mark II and have that be a stretch goal. So that gets added on. And I know the original Vamp didn't come with those, but they're snap on, snap off. So if you don't want them, don't put them on.
Yeah.
But you're probably going to tool them anyway for the reuse down the road.
I'll be honest here, because Rack Time Rob will back me up on this. But my plan was always to get a Vamp Mark II when we were kids, so I could take the door and the roof off and put it on the regular Vamp, because I like the regular Vamp better.
Yeah. That's a good idea. It's a good look. And
I never wound up doing it, but that was the plan.
It's an easy stretch goal to throw on there, right? And you've got you already got clutch there. You're looking good. So there you go. Like, I don't think you could do a stretch goal that's another classified figure on top of the original clutch, but
sure. I mean, I don't think clutch would necessarily be a stretch goal either. I think he'd have to be part of base set.
Yeah. Trying to think, the breaker mold is so classic first year Joe that if you were going to do another stretch goal, like somebody to ride shotgun in the Vamp, you could make it another one of the original Joes that likely wouldn't get made otherwise. So it could be Grunt, or it could be Short Fuse, or who knows. But, one of the guys you're not ever going to make probably in the line, but if you want to get him, you can get him for no extra charge. Just sign up for your Vamp. But a classified Vamp is with a clutch figure, that's probably, is that 200?
Yeah, I would think they'd pad it out a little bit to get it to 200. I would think that's probably about right.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else they could add to it. I mean, you could put all sorts of little car stuff with it, like a jack, like a jack or a spare tire, or the gas cans. And, well,
That's what I was thinking too. Rob throws out the Colonel Hawk figure, the old school Hawk.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
In his greens.
Yeah, because if they ever do Hawk, you're getting bomber jacket Hawk, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And probably brown hair Hawk to separate him from Duke a bit. But yeah, you could do original Hawk. That'd be cool.
See, my project is the same. I was thinking Vamp as well. So I'm just going to piggyback onto what you were saying here. For a stretch goal in my mind, Grand Slam with a jump pack.
See, I like the idea of, because if you're gonna do Flash at some point,
right?
And yeah, Grand Slam, yeah, you could totally mix it in. And the jump pack isn't hard and isn't expensive, but it's probably something you're never selling on its own, right?
Right.
So
because that dopey launch pad is one of the things that didn't age well.
Yeah.
I mean, throw some extra jump packs in there. Outfit your whole outfit your old squad with it. Mm-hmm. Joe Colton. It's mid-2022. Who gets the call?
I think you're probably right with the Vamp, but I wanted to pick something different. So I was toying between the Stinger and the Striker.
Oh. I mean, a Stinger essentially is the same thing. Striker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lord knows we have 15 Strikers in the 4-inch scale, so why not get one in the 6-inch scale too?
You could start with a Stinger and then come back to it as a Vamp. We did that also all the time when we were putting out a new mold. Like in Transformers, if we were doing a new Seeker, we wouldn't make it Starscream to start with. We'd do Thundercracker, right? So the debut is of a less popular version of that mold because we know the Starscream will sell later on. So my only worry about the Striker is we saw that so much. At the end of the 3 3/4 and 4-inch lines. So only because it was one of the few popular molds that was still available. Mm-hmm. So it got played. They played that song a lot. I played it once.
So if folks have some questions, we're at the time where we can take some of those from the folks who are watching this live. But yeah, so it would. If you were going to go O-ring again, what would you go, Mark? Figure-wise
or vehicle-wise?
For a project.
Oh, I do. I mentioned it last week. I think new has a ton of potential behind it. So I do the Aspid. I do that Cobra transport helicopter that's never been done. It was in like 2 issues ago. It was in Larry's latest issue of Real American Hero. Like it's in the cartoon, it's in the comic. It's just never been done. I'll outfit it with more weapons, so it's a little bit more Apache and maybe a little less, flying bus.
Yeah, a little more action.
Yeah, but it's hollow, right? If you actually made it the big middle area, a troop carrier, and then you can tie in some kind of troop builder O-ring available at the same time through the pulse. And just if you did 4 Cobra troopers with 1 officer, all O-ring, all in a box, right? Not necessarily splayed out nice on cards or anything. I think if you did, 5 for $60, I think they'd sell those all day.
Yeah,
and
would.
If you showed the Aspid loaded in, if you had pegs in the floorboard where it could carry 18 troopers, and it comes with a new pilot, a named Cobra. Come on. Like, now you're talking. And if it needs more name value, then you throw a Baroness or a Destro or somebody else in there in a unique version. Like, now you're really starting to roll. I just think, and I thought this for Transformers and for Joe, that the brands were built on just armloads of new characters and new vehicles every year. And especially with Joe, we've been stuck with what's left of those molds for so long.
Right.
That I think the community would just explode for something brand new.
Yeah.
So I do the Aspen. I think it'd be big.
All right. And not to cut you off, Joe Colton, but let's go ahead and get some questions. They're starting to come in. From Firefly, question for Honcho Mark about the O-Ring Rewind. That's tough to say 3 times fast.
Right.
What do you think Hasbro is trying to accomplish by switching back to O-ring sculpts? What would have prompted this change?
My guess, and this is pure speculation, is that the Walmart retro figures weren't turning as well as they expected, or as well as Walmart wanted, and so they still wanted exclusive product, but they wanted it changed up. What can you give us that's different that will bring in more collectors? And so I'm guessing this is Walmart driven. That when they expand it, it will be Walmart exclusive to help balance out the classified stuff that has done very well for Target. The Target exclusive stuff that they're actually stepping up with next year with the Tiger Force and the Python Patrol. So I'm guessing this is Walmart driven to say, hey, all of our retro stuff for every other line sells great. Your stuff is just okay, and Target stuff is flying off the shelves. What can you give us that's better or different, or we'll grab the collector wallet, spend a little bit more? And I don't know for sure that it will, but I can't say I would have done something different had I had a seat at that table, because that's an easy pivot, right? I can go right back to O-ring and trumpet that as the return of O-ring.
Yeah, you're already trying to play the hits, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So you might as well play all the hits.
Yeah, go for it. Like,
you're already trying to bring back those characters in that scale. Well, you know what? You there were some dogs in that retro line. They got it right at the end, but like that Screaming Duke figure is terrible.
Yeah,
always has been, and will continue to be when it gets rolled out 3 years from now in another retro line. But
he came with the harness for the jump, but no jump pad.
But no jump, yeah.
Come on.
So yeah, it just not good, right? So it'll, yeah. If you're gonna play some of the hits, play all the hits.
Yeah, I understand why they're doing it, and I just think we haven't heard yet what the other bit is.
Yeah, we probably won't ever. So
yeah, maybe not. No, I just mean if they are doing O-ring exclusive stuff for Walmart, we've heard no inkling of it yet.
Gotcha.
And for me, I would have tied it into something that was launching January 1 to say, here comes your Skystriker in December to fuel, to literally launch the return of O-ring coming to Walmart January 1. And, and again, I'm not privy to what supply chain issues they have. Maybe that's what they wanted to do and it just couldn't happen. But that's the way you want to do it. You have a big event or item that kicks off the return of the retail line. Even if it is Walmart exclusive, there's just not that much brick and mortar anymore. So something that's exclusive to Walmart is still a big deal. And I think you would have wanted to have a little more synergy between your launch and your fulfillment. Speaking of, I paid for my Skystriker. It'll be here by Christmas, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, count on it.
Can't wait.
It's so like random and like exciting.
Yeah. I'll wrap it up like that first Star Wars Christmas, right? Where they sold the cardboard thing saying figures coming next year.
Here. If you HasLab a Vamp, would you go lower cost to HasLab a Stinger or try it as an exclusive item?
That's a good question. I don't know. To put out a Stinger, you couldn't do less, right? You'd still have to do the doors and the top and the missiles, and it'd actually probably be a little more expensive. And you'd have to have a figure. Now, you've already got an officer, so you're not tooling anything. You're just painting them up gray to make that Stinger driver. But it may not have to be. If the Vamp sells really well, you may be able to do the Stinger just through the Pulse. Unless somebody steps up at retail and really wants it. But it's hard to place big ticket items at retail. I know there's a Castle Grayskull and that Autobot Arc, and there's a few things out there. But
if you're Star Wars or your Transformers, it's a little easier. Or if you're throwing the #1 all-time Mattel playset, it's a little bit easier to find that shelf space than if you're just. I mean, let's face it, the Skystriker is important to us because we're G.I. Joe fans, but to the folks at Walmart, to the folks at Target, they've got 2 or 3 other products that look just like it.
Right.
It's just a plane.
Well, and since the Vamp and the Stinger share 80% of their parts, you might have the Stinger parts in the same mold, right?
Yeah.
You still might be making them at the same time and just having them assembled at the end of the vamp run.
Right.
So there's a way to cut corners on that. So if you needed, if their minimum was 10,000 vamps and they got that, they could run 6,000 Stingers on the end of that, right? Or maybe more. Like that's a good question, and I don't have the answer to it. When I was a kid, the vamp was the vamp, and Clutch drove it. Now I know in the cartoon you would see 50 vamps jump over the hill, and anybody could drive it.
And somehow Clutch was always in the infantry.
Yeah, right. Bazooka's
Right.
driving the vamp, but
Yeah, there's Gung Ho driving the vamp, but there's Clutch running alongside it with a. Anyways, go on.
But for me as a kid, and part of it was because the drivers weren't unique people; they were still troopers on some level. I would buy 2 or 3 HISS tanks, when the funds allowed, or a couple of Stingers, or a couple of Asps, or whatever. Because to me, the Cobra stuff wasn't unique, other than like Wild Weasel. Like I only needed 1 Rattler. For me, Wild Weasel flew the Rattler. I didn't need more than 1, and I couldn't afford more than 1
Right.
as a kid. But for grown-ups who are now collecting the classified line, are they more likely to buy multiple Stingers than multiple Vamps? I don't know for sure. I would be, but again, at that price point, I don't know that I need multiple Stingers.
Yeah.
What fueled my need for more Cobra stuff is that they just made more Joe stuff than Cobra stuff. And when I set up my big war, which was my favorite thing to do as a kid, Cobra was massively outgunned, and it didn't look like a fair fight. So I liked to army build when I could and stock up on extra Cobra stuff just to balance the sides and have a more interesting war. So
look at Mr. Fancy army building as a kid, Joe.
Ooh, that was my favorite thing to do. Was I would just say, "Hey, Ma, can I have the family room next weekend?" And she'd say, "Yeah, but I want it all cleaned up by Monday."
Oh, we got you there. That's not what we're making fun of you for.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that you actually thought to army build as a child.
Yeah. Just to balance the sides, and like that's my end game. I think as a collector is to have a room that I get for a couple months, and to just bring it all out, right? Because oh boy, I didn't have a flag back then, baby, but I do now. So yeah, I'm waiting. So someday, 15 years from now, I'm gonna have that room, and it'll be the what will become the new dining room in a new house someday. And I'll say, okay, but I get it for 3 months. Don't buy the table yet.
Joe Self throws the big hypothetical at us. What if the deadline for the Skystriker ended first? Is it possible it wouldn't have funded and that potential money went towards the Rancor? Glad we'll never know. I'm going to field this one first. I think the Skystriker would have funded. I don't think we necessarily would have gotten to Ripcord, but I'm going to maintain that from a media perspective, when we're looking for opinions on these things, we are talking to guys who do toys, right? That's all they do. That's their big thing. They spend hundreds of dollars a month on it. So yes, we tend to try to get our opinions from guys who are collecting more than one at a time. I think that most folks who got the Skystriker were only going to get the Skystriker from the beginning. Now, that is to say, take the number that they got to, 16,000 and some, take 2,000 off of there, and that's probably where we turn up if the Rancor ended after the Skystriker did. Like, I don't think we get to Ripcord, but I think that's the only difference. And you guys, if you think differently, by all means, sound off here.
I think you're about right. Like, yeah, I think what we would have been funded, like, even though I was worried, it was just too close for it not to fund. And then everything else was like the cake on top. But yeah, maybe 2,000, take that off. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, if you look at the failure of the Rancor, I mean, the stretched figure, the keeper, right? The guy you would never get, even though they dig deep in the black lines, right? And get some obscure guys out there. You're never getting that guy without the actual Rancor. What's good as a Rancor keeper without a Rancor, right?
Yeah, why would you want him without the Rancor?
But if you flip the logic, imagine if they'd put the Skystriker out without Ace, right? Ace is never going in the classified line by himself without a plane, right?
No.
Never. But to say, hey, Skystriker, I know it's retro versus classified, but still, Ace is never going in the retro line on a card in Walmart, right? That's not going to happen. So to put out, say, hey, Joe fans, do we ever have something for you? It's the Skystriker. Period. Right? Imagine how the fan base would have reacted, just like the Star Wars fan base reacted, right? So they were a little bit snake bit from jump. And even though I kind of like it, it's a pretty cool looking figure. It's a little different when it's a big creature versus a big vehicle.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't know that I need the Wampa more than I need a snow speeder, right? Like, I think it's a different animal, literally.
I don't even know it's like you're talking a weird Moon Man language at this point.
Right?
All I know is G.I. Joe, Mark.
That's it? Fair
That's all
enough.
I got.
What?
Fair enough.
It's if you follow us on Facebook, it's the common taunt that I have for Joe Colton. She'll post something about Star Wars, and I'll say something to the effect of, "Oh, they make a Star Wars now?" Or she'll post something about Star Trek, and I'll just jump the fence. "Oh, they make a Star Trek now?"
I like that Joe went full Trekkie and ripped on Lando's personal choices. Like
Right.
Captain Kirk was crazy discerning, right?
Right.
Come on.
Look, I'm just saying, if Lando can handle a robot, fantastic.
I'm all right with it.
Joe doesn't even like robots.
No.
That's what robots. That's what 40 years of Colt 45 will do for you right there. Yeah. Alternating current, baby. Black Star Ninja asks, seeing as we know they lost most of the molds, it seems that these new O-rings are just 3D scans. Does this mean molds no longer dictate what vehicles and figures we can get, as they can just rescan them?
I mean, yeah, you can just rescan them, but you still got to pay money to cut the steel.
Yeah.
So I bet they're still looking at what molds do we have, at least vehicle-wise. And that was one of the big shockers when I was there, when I joined the brand. One of the first things I found out was how many molds were available, and you could fit it on probably. I mean, they were small. You could probably fit 20 images on one printed page of a Excel document, and that document was like 2.5 pages long. Like there's I want to say almost nothing, because that's still 45 or so molds. But if you think about how much they actually made, this is vehicle wise, there's not much left.
I think maybe the answer to that question is molds never really determined what they would send us as vehicles. It was just more how much money they wanted to spend on G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I think that was a big part of it. If there was a big push for Joe, it'd be really nice to say, hey, we can do a killer whale and we don't have to design it per se, because what everybody wants is the old one. And maybe you make upgrades here and there. Like if they did it again, they'd make the vanes to the fans a little more sturdy, I think. But, a lot of that work is done, at least to start with, right? Like this is what we're starting with. We're going to add a little bit to it. But when I was there, it was always, because it was such a low tide for the brand, it was what do we have left? And we had exhausted pretty much all the interesting molds. The only one we had planned, and we talked about it before, that we didn't get to, the Dragonfly we were going to do again, and the Hammer, which is a great vehicle. I'm really sorry we weren't able to get that one.
Your show is longer than my walk. You're welcome.
Your walk is shorter than our show.
Right? Rock Mastrangelo asks, how many of the 16,000 Skystrikers do you think will end up on eBay? My guess is 20 to 25% of them. I think that's a solid guess.
Mm-hmm. Maybe not right away, though, right? I bet there's a good amount of the speculators who are going to sit on them for a while.
Yeah.
And know that as long as you can afford that, to float that, and know that the real money for the Skystriker is 3 or 4 years from now.
Yeah. And truthfully, I don't have a problem with that either. There's lots of folks who maybe just didn't have the money right now, and they can go for a little bit more later.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that, especially for something open-ended like a Kickstarter project.
Yeah, let's face it. People buying extras for whatever reason help get this project made.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Yeah, but 20 to 25%, solid guess. Maybe a little on the low side. Along those lines, how much is the Skystriker and where to get it again, please? Well, yeah, somebody else maybe want to field that one. No, funding ended on Tuesday. That's the gist of the show today, and so I'm gonna guess that maybe you'll be one of those guys checking out eBay in about a year for one of the resales. But there's our next T-shirt right there. What's on Joe mind? It's longer than a 40-minute walk. Oh God, we're longer than 2 40-minute walks most weeks. So some weeks we're up around 3 40-minute walks.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get you on that treadmill.
Ric Flair is like, aren't you guys done yet?
Yeah, like Dusty Rhodes is out of steam.
Yeah.
Let's see. Checking questions. Okay. Chaz the Guru asks, so what's more likely? The Skystriker success makes Hasbro more likely to make a classified HasLab, or the Rancor failure scares Hasbro away because it's a 6-inch line? No, I think the first one. I think success for Joe is going to beget more success for Joe.
Mm-hmm.
There was just something about that Rancor. There was just a bad element that got mixed in there, and the hate just got piled on. So I don't understand it. Again, I'm using the term fans very loosely, but I don't think that the failure of the Rancor HasLab is going to affect a potential classified one. Classified is, I mean, as much as we didn't care for the Snake Eyes movie as a fandom, Classified is the runaway darling of the last 2 years on the Hasbro line, and they can dress that up however they want to. But you can find everything. As soon as those Classified figures are getting put on shelves, they were getting snapped up, and that tells you an awful lot about how popular and how much in demand they were.
It is a little hard to tell without knowing production numbers.
Sure.
But it obviously was far more popular than Hasbro expected.
Exactly. If it was too low, they paid the price on that by missing out on that money.
Right.
If it was supply line issues, well, maybe not, because it's not like that first wave of Classified has come roaring back since then. It's not like that early wave of Duke, Scarlet, Snake Eyes, etc. just showed up in bulk later on. They had to get remolded or rather repainted and redone in order to get those out to satisfy demand. So,
but I think it's pretty rare that they look at a style of toy and then use that to influence other brands, right? Like the 6-inch
on established brands, I think that would be weird.
The 6-inch Marvel line has been doing great business for a long time, and Star Wars Black too. And it took a long time to get to Classified Joe, right? So if that logic holds up, it would be 6 inches great for collectors. Joe is a collector-fueled line, which they absolutely believe, and is true at this point, right? But it took us forever to get a 6-inch Joe. So I don't think they apply that logic across brands. I think they look at every brand individually.
Chaz the Guru again, didn't Hasbro say that the O-Ring would be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive? They did, but sometimes things change.
Yeah.
So it's a Hasbro Pulse exclusive for right now.
Yeah.
Here in December 2021. In June 2022 could be a completely different story. So
if one of the major retailers said we want that, they wouldn't say no. Like, no, we're sorry, we're keeping that. Like, they want to make money. They want to grow the brand. So,
basic question here from Ryan Sweeney. Hancho.
Appreciate that.
couldn't resist that one.
Got it.
Hey, hey, Hancho. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how much do those molds tooling cost?
It's that's really not actually part of the marketing job. So that would actually run through the engineer mainly. But I know the one I remember when we were doing the Great Big Devastator for Hasbro, I know that one was upwards of $100,000 for tooling. So, but that's a lot of parts. That's 6 Voyager transformers to make that have to fit together and make one big robot. So I know that was part of the ask at the time was since Takara was going to sell it in Japan, I know they reached out to Takara to see if they would dig in a little bit and help us cover the tooling costs since they were going to sell it in Japan as well. But that's a big bot, right? Like a vamp wouldn't be anywhere near that, and a classified figure certainly wouldn't either.
Kevin Charles Porter asks, do you think there's a possibility they do something modular like Skeletron did? I would say that it'd be certainly a good idea to try and work something like that in there.
Cool idea.
Couldn't hurt to explore it.
It wouldn't have been a bad idea on the Skystriker to make it just a little bit larger and allow 4-inch figures to fit in the cockpit as well. Now maybe they do. I guess we don't know for sure that they don't. But I mean, the difference between the 3 3/4 and the 4-inch figures is obviously not very much.
Right.
So even if it meant that the whole thing got a little bit bigger, it's all new tooling. You can make whatever size you want. So I don't think that's a bad idea at all for new vehicles, unless they're determined to just bury that era. And to me, what's the harm in making let's pick something they could make for the 3 3/4 guys, the snowmobile, right?
Right.
If they were going to do the Polar Battle Bear again, that's a cool vehicle. Wouldn't be terribly expensive now, but it would be new tooling. If the difference between making it as it was and making it 4-inch compatible is making it 10% bigger, then make it 10% bigger.
Right.
Right. Especially if you're still just trying to hit the dedicated collectors. The shame of this is, and I'm not trying to rain on the parade here, is still not doing anything. I haven't seen any whisper of a plan to make this appeal to kids.
Yeah.
And if you're not trying, it doesn't mean you can't still make money and it can't still be viable, but that is a sink that's slowly draining if you're just going after the dedicated collector. So
yep, playing the hits only gets you so far.
Yeah, and it's fine for me if they want to play the hits. It's better than what we put up with for a lot of the last decade when they sometimes weren't playing the hits.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad about where it is now. I'm just a little frustrated that they don't think it's applicable to a youth audience anymore.
With Hasbro's money and G.I. Joe's resurgent, why haven't we seen a Netflix animated series like they've done for Transformers? Classified 10-parter with older theme like Resolute, it'd be a hit. Maybe. I'm in the chorus of folks that does not think that Resolute was the end-all be-all of G.I. Joe animation. There were some problems there. It was really cool to look at, but there were some problems there. We'll get into that some other time. But I don't know either. I think that animation is the perfect format for a property like G.I. Joe, more so than live action stuff. But clearly I'm not in charge. So good question. I hope we get an answer to that at some point, but haven't really heard much about this either. There were those images of the Snake Eyes animation, but I'd be stunned if that actually came to fruition at this point. The way that movie just tanked, there's no way that's gonna, again, pure speculation. I don't want to act like I know anything about it, but wow, the way that movie just landed like a wet carp.
Yeah.
I just don't see, oh, well, hey, let's make a cartoon based on that one. I don't see that being the thought process. So
he's a manipulative jewel thief. You'll
Right.
love him. It's Snake Eyes.
Hey.
they had like a design lab kind of thing where you got to pitch a project at Hasbro. They did it my first 2 years there. And my first year there, even though I was on Transformers, I put together a big pitch for new Joe animation. And the people who came by seemed to love it. And I was brand new and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And the prize of this was, if you won, they would do whatever the winner had pitched, would become a toy, would become a line, would become a thing. And I was just cloud nine all day because everybody who came by said that, I think that could work. That's really cool. And then at the end, I didn't win the grand prize, and I didn't finish second, and I didn't finish third, and I didn't get honorable mention or cool concept, bro. I got nothing. And I must have looked crestfallen because one of the higher ups, who's still even more than ever one of the higher ups at Hasbro, came over to me and said, your concept was great, but they're not spending money on Joe animation right now. Now, that was 2012. So it was a while ago. And certainly a lot of the chairs have changed. But it was, the ruling wasn't what the room felt like. But it was nice of this guy who didn't know me from Jump to come over and tell me it wasn't your concept. Your concept was rock solid.
At least let you off the hook.
They're not going to approve anything animated for Joe right now. So.
And got time for a couple more quick ones. Remember, if you're tuning in on Facebook, go ahead and give us a little emoticon reaction. Give us a thumbs up or a little huggy guy, because we love little huggy guy. If you're on YouTube, thank you. Please subscribe, like the video, share it in your social media channels. Chaz the Guru, how much do you think a classified hiss with driver would cost if Alfred as a HasLab? Joe Colton, what do you think that one? That one's going to run?
Just the hiss tank, nothing else. No driver, no.
No, with the driver. With the driver.
With the driver.
Read the question. Read the question. Classified hiss with driver.
Okay.
Is it wrapped in Christmas paper?
Yes.
I has one. I would say around the same amount as the Skystriker, just because it's more roomy. You can fit more figures in it, I guess. You'd have to add a couple more figures.
Yeah, there'd have to be a few more bells and whistles or something there.
You can't just have just a hiss and a hiss driver. Like
I think it would be a little more expensive just because of shipping.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
you can break it down, can't you?
To a certain extent, but at some point, the hiss is a big blocky bastard, and it's only going to go so far.
I mean, that was one of the real price savings of the Real American Hero line in the vehicles.
Right.
Was that they were all in pieces on sprues, right? And not only does that mean smaller boxes, and they don't have to worry about showcasing the vehicle other than the beautiful art, but they save a ton of money in assembly, right? At the factory level. Don't have to snap any wheels on, just drop them in the box. So if they did a classified hiss, they could make it a box, and it's all in there. Just build it.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't bought a HasLab product yet, so I don't know how they arrive. But there certainly are a lot of ways they can trim some costs, in that it's never going to appear for sale on a toy shelf somewhere.
Right.
It can be a brown box with his tank stamped on it. So, what did Breaker cost with the Ram? I wouldn't know because I don't shop at Target.
$40.
$40. So 20 of that is Breaker. So a Ram cycle is $20. How much bigger, feasibly, is a HISS tank than a Ram motorcycle?
Well, I mean, you're talking retail, which is retail's a much bigger production run than a HasLab run would be.
That's true too.
And that's where the scale gets driven up. I think that's what people don't take into account nearly so much. That 16,000 Skystrikers is a line of Skystrikers.
Yeah.
But you compare it to how many Skystrikers they made in 1983, and it's a drop in the pond.
Yeah.
And that's how you got that's how you get to having a plane that's $229. I think like a HISS tank, if they HasLabbed it, first off, it wouldn't just be a driver. There would be more to it.
Yeah, which then bumps the price up again.
Yeah, I think they would figure out a way to make that package about $300.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I don't think that, because it would be massive.
One thing about the Skystriker that Joe fans aren't used to, it's one of the only, maybe the only one that had a royalty attached. Right?
Oh,
They
really?
had to pay. Yeah, they had to pay Northrop Grumman because it's a legit.
Oh, that's right. It's
royalty.
legit.
Yeah,
tank.
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna guess ballpark. That's a 10% royalty. So
I'm surprised it's Northrop Grumman.
his tank doesn't have. They're not paying royalties to Destro for the design, right? So
True.
it's possible. I think 300. They'd have to have a lot of stuff in there for it to be 300.
I don't know, man. I just think getting it from wherever they make it to here, and then from here to its individual homes, that's going to take a lot of cost right there. I think the short run would be another lot of cost. I'm telling you, man. And just again, the optics on it are good. Oh, hey, this vehicle for the small guys was $229. We can charge this for the big guys because it's a giant brick on treads.
Right.
And that's going to be $300. Like the optics kind of work.
Yeah,
they
probably don't want it to be less than the Skystriker. That's for sure. But I think if you didn't assemble it and if you packed it as tightly as possible in as small a box as possible, because none of that matters. They don't ever have to show you what the box looks like until it arrives on your doorstep. And when it arrives on your doorstep, yeah, you might be like, it's not that pretty as is, but you're still either saving it to resell it or you're a non-opener and you were never going to open it anyway. Those guys might be disappointed. But if you're building it anyway, who cares? If it comes in a box that's breaker sized, right?
Right.
But sealed and everything is packed in there super tight. That could help them with container cost and no assembly overseas. And there's lots of ways to cut, I don't say cut corners, but because it never has to be customer facing in its final mode, you can find a lot of ways to make it a little cheaper because of that.
Okay. And I'm just looking to see if we got one more quick one. I don't know if we really do. So anyways, we'll close up the count for that. Thanks to everybody for contributing. We always appreciate the lively nature of our live chat. You guys are the best. We appreciate you every week showing up and making our little fandom into a community of its own. Again, keep going out and spreading the word. # plug the damn show. Here's a good one. Here's a good quick one. Are we ever going to see Mark's cartoon pitch?
Maybe. I had a lot of here's not now. I'm still looking for some of the original. I had some original artwork done by artist friends of mine. The only time I asked almost any of them to draw me something, but the concept was tied into a different look for some of your classic Joes. So I'll see if I can find it. If I can find that art, I'd love to throw it up here. I don't think I have it was a visual presentation, like on a trifold board. It wasn't a PowerPoint, or I'd still have it.
If we ever bust that one out, it'll be in a mail call or something like that. We won't ever do that on a Sunday.
Even when it was over, they wouldn't let me take the trifold board home to work on at home over the weekend.
Oh wow.
They were like, nah, that's Hasbro property. And I'm like, it's my project for a pitch. I want to do more for it. And they're like, you can, but you have to do that work here. You can't get that out of the building. And at the end, they collected all of them. So I never had it, but I think I have some of the artwork for it. So if I can find it, I'd be happy to share it.
So I think they won't let you work. They didn't approve the pitch, but they also won't let you work on it.
Right, or keep it afterwards.
Right. Well, in their world, it's still their property, even though they're not doing anything with it. You did the work for them.
I get that. It would just seem a little weird to me that I couldn't work on it at home. Put a little
that is the strange part of it.
A little secret sauce on it, but the Hasbro security was pretty tight. Although on my first day, one of the guys on the Transformers team looked at me with my little computer bag, and he said, "You'll need a bigger bag." I'm like, what are you talking about? It fits the computer. He didn't say anything else. You'll need a bigger bag. Okay.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
Let's move into what we got in.
Okay.
Joe Colton, you've been the quietest. What'd you get in this week?
So this week, so I got a Darksaber, a Star Wars Darksaber.
So
However,
there's a Star Wars now?
yeah, there is. However, 260 some odd dollars. Yeah. And like,
Goodness.
it's really nice. It's very bright, except that the tip of the blade doesn't light up. And it's supposed to. And then also be red. And I'm like, so I called them and they said, well, first of all, the lady on the phone didn't even know what the hell I was talking about, which I was like, how do you work somewhere and not know the products? Whatever, it's fine, just customer service. So she said, they're going to give me one of two options. Either I can be sent a label so I can send it back and they'll replace it or find something of equal value or just refund me. And I was like, but I need this. Like, I can't get like something of equal value. And she's like, well, I can't promise. And so I'm like trying to decide if I should just send the damn thing back and see if I can find one in the wild that's not a gazillion dollars.
That's kind of rough because
Yeah.
if you got a new one, great. And if you got a refund, okay. But you don't want any part of equal value,
Yeah.
right? What if they send you
refund.
9 Star Wars black figures?
Yeah.
Right? Here you go.
Yeah.
Here's 9 Yak Face.
Yeah. Like what? So yeah. So I'm trying to like decide.
That sucks, Joe. I'm sorry about that because when you spend that much money on something,
Yeah.
it should be absolutely perfect.
Perfect. And it's funny because when like we had to put the blade in and like it's not like the Galaxy's Edge lightsabers now where you just twist and they come off. It's like the old like the Ultra Sabers, like the really good ones. Except that like also the blade is kind of like because it's so long, it like does a little bit of this. And I'm like, ah. So Wes is like, I don't want it. Like you should send it back. This sucks. Why it doesn't turn on properly? And I'm like, so, he's not wrong. I'm just like, I just wanted I waited a year for this thing.
Yeah, that's crap.
It was pre-order December 17th? And I just got it. I'm like, come on.
Waited a year for a floppy lightsaber.
That doesn't like
That
the
doesn't
whole
light
thing
up.
is on really nice, and then like the tip is like.
Can you you talk to them by phone, right?
Yes.
Can you reach out via email?
I did. They didn't
Okay.
get back to me within 24 hours, so I called because I'm that lady.
Right. No, I'm a firm believer that you'll usually get better customer service on the phone or even better in person.
Yeah.
If you can go to whatever business has run afoul.
She was like, "Did you order this off of Hasbro Pulse?" And I was like, "Yes, it's a pre-order." Oh, well, your name doesn't come up. I'm like, "Here's the order number, crazy lady."
Wow.
I hope that the email actually gets better a better resolution because I think you can make your case actually better in print.
Yeah.
And to say I don't want equal value, right? I want this or a refund if you can't get me this.
Right.
Couldn't resist this one. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Matthew. It's just ugh.
No, I'm with you.
G.I. Karen, stop calling about lightsabers.
No, that's the other thing. She was like, "So what is it? Like, it's a Star Wars thing?" And I was like, "It's a lightsaber, like a giant sword that lights up." And she's like,
she was like, "Oh, there's a Star Wars now."
Yeah. I was like, I'm not like the most like knowledgeable Star Wars fan, but I know what a fucking lightsaber is.
There you
Oh
go,
God, there we are again.
It was BOGO on F-bombs this week.
Get in the coffee.
So mad. Anyway.
So what else you get in? What else? What do you get in that works?
I got Skeletron shirt.
Hey! I'm wearing mine
So
too.
I really wanted to wear one, except that like I had to.
Yeah.
And then I got a second one.
Look, you're showing it off. It's all right.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice red. I didn't get a red one.
I got a red one. I'll trade you.
I got the black one and I got a gray one.
There ain't a lot of red shirts, fire engine red shirts in my closet, right? It's not a good look. But I have a red Skeletron. I may rock it one time just to show how bad a color is.
Yeah.
It's bad.
I like the Robos, the black one you're wearing now.
Yeah.
Like you gotta sit up a little bit so everybody can see it.
Mike, let's see that shirt.
Oh, sorry.
No, the one
No, the
you're
black
wearing.
Oh,
saw that.
sorry.
That's
It's got the Robospell on it.
Yeah.
That's a
I like this one.
yeah.
I'm not normally a black t-shirt guy.
They marketed like so well and like did their research and like so proud of them and you have to applaud them.
They got so much money, they're just sending t-shirts out to have in America right now. Like, they're making it rain with t-shirts. You get a t-shirt.
Thank you to Ben Conway for hooking us up with Skeletron t-shirts as being part of his PR team, so to speak.
So I'm totally going to go. I'm going to wear one of these to the gym.
There you go.
Because like that's my outing now. I go to the gym.
It's the only time you let yourself out of the house.
Well, I went into work today and that was not fun. It's a dick nose.
Easy.
Is that a person?
Easy.
No, there was a guy. Also, like I hadn't taken the metro in like 2 years. A lady sat next to me and it says like, don't sit next to people. And I'm just like, why is this happening? But our other car broke down. So Wes had to take my car.
That's just what you get for being internet celebrity, Joe Colton. Everybody wants to be close to you.
No. And what's with these kids like putting on their like phones on like super loud music and like competing music? I'm like, okay, I'm not that old, but like it's annoying at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, there's something to be said for the decline of the earbud in modern society.
To it, like I'm like I just wanted to like an older, like she was older than I was. She got up and just gave that guy a scowl and just walked into the next train, like the car. And I was just like, just staring at him. And he's like higher and higher. And then another guy put it higher. And then some other guy did like metal. And I was like, okay, like.
Yeah. By and large, nobody wants to listen to your music. Whatever your music is, that's your music, right?
Yeah. Earbuds.
Yeah.
Earbuds.
Always earbuds.
A couple of years ago, at one of the bigger stoplights near our house, that's Rhode Island, the two guys, 2 lanes going the way I was going, and the 2 guys in the front were pounding rap and country, and they both jacked their stereos to show the other guy who was boss, and I was behind country guy, and there was a gal behind rap guy, and it was like 7 o'clock at night, and I knew my radio. The only time I listen to radio is for a Yankee game, but the station that plays the Yankees when they're not on always plays Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace Network, and so these 2 guys were just pounding their music at each other, and I was next to somebody else, and my sunroof was actually open for some reason, and so I just turned on my radio and pounded Dave Ramsey Financial News as loud as I could. Because I knew someone looking at me would think, yeah, that guy probably listens to Dave Ramsey driving around, right? It's probably about his speed. And I killed the gal in the car next to me, right?
She just died laughing.
When I threw my hat into the noise attack ring with Dave Ramsey going, you need to pay off your mortgage. It's important. So good.
And what's with kids and their loud music? I'm gonna throw on top of that. My experience with people playing their phones in public has always been with the elderly. Every single time.
Really?
It is old people. Yes.
No.
Yes.
With music?
Yes.
What?
Or television shows or or making phone calls,
Phone calls.
FaceTiming.
Phone calls I
yeah,
get.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've especially at work. There's been a number of occasions where somebody will just wander in and be wandering up and down our aisles and just watching some sitcom or listening to their music. No earphones. No nothing.
I've been near an old biddy or two going, no, they're out of mayonnaise. No. Well, what should we get? And I'm like, what are you doing? We don't need to know this.
No,
I
not at
love
all.
old people like that because it just makes me laugh. With the like music at like 7:45 in the morning, like and competing on a metro, I'm like, come on! Like I wanted to go over and go, no.
The only thing I want on the metro is to be left alone and
Right?
get off. Right, like get me to my stop, and yeah.
But no, Joe Colton had that one lady in her lap. What else you get in this week?
That's it.
All righty.
I got gifts for other people that I can't show because if they
Fair enough.
tune
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
But I can show you. Maybe I can show you. Like oh my god, this is gonna be horrendous.
Come on, we're going long. Come on now.
We're all around the North Pole now.
Oh Jesus.
Hold on. Okay, so there's gifts.
Hey.
Yeah, I've wrapped a ton of gifts. Okay, there.
For this, anyways. Mark Weber, what'd you get in?
Everything I got in is for other people. It's all Christmas gifts they're having right now, so I got a lot of wrapping to do.
Yeah, I got some Skeletron t-shirts. Otherwise, I didn't get a whole lot in this week either. I did go to Kokomo Toys, but it was mostly to talk business with the Jordans, and he gave me a couple of pieces that I needed for my old school O-ring Joes. But
fast draw visor,
a bazooka backpack, a blizzard rifle, a lifeline backpack, and of course a beachhead backpack.
Huh.
So now number 23 finally has a backpack.
How do you decide? Do you have more than one missing a backpack?
There's a few of them that don't have any gear at all. There's a few of them that have various states of gear.
So how do you decide who gets the backpack? Is it the best shaped one?
That's what they come with.
Um,
how I get
like you just got a backpack, came home, and there's 5 beachheads without it. How do you decide?
In this case, it was the one that was right in front of me.
Okay. I just picture all 5 of them throwing their hands up and going, "Ooh, Mr. Cotta."
And then I give it to the one that's the newest out of them all, and they're oh.
Of course,
don't get sad.
Shout outs, Mark Weber.
Teacher likes the new kid. Shout outs. We definitely want to give a shout out to Sean Russell, a longtime fan and contributor and supporter, who's we hadn't heard from him in a while, and we got back in touch with him, and he's on the mend. I think that's a good way to put it. So he's feeling better, and we look forward to seeing him back in the chat very, very soon. So for our pal Sean, we hope he's feeling even better now, and we look forward to seeing you back in the chat.
Yeah, supposed to get sick after Thanksgiving turkey.
Yeah.
After, not before.
Or
after.
sick of the turkey, perhaps.
Never.
Yeah.
I was telling Rob, like there was some commercial that we saw where it said that very thing. Oh, are you getting tired of turkey? I looked at Rob and said, I'm tempted to go buy another turkey. Anyways, Joe Colton, who we shouting out to?
I'm gonna shout out to George Perez this week. He is a dear friend and inspiration to me. He's actually like, I don't know, he has been people have said that he is like one of the souls of Dragon Con every year. He comes out to the Wonder Woman shoots and other DC shoots that we do. But if you don't know, George Perez was diagnosed with inoperable stage 3 pancreatic cancer. And he was also, sorry, I'm trying not to like.
It's okay.
So he co-created Teen Titans, the Teen Titans Raven, Cyborg, Starfire, and
the new Teen Titans run from the 80s.
Yes, Deathstroke, Taskmaster, He also worked on, obviously, Wonder Woman and Avengers, Crisis on Infinite Earths. But he was given options on chemo and radiation, but after weighing all the variables, he was given like 6 months to a year to live. And instead of being seen by doctors and getting treatments and dealing with all that, he is just going to enjoy as much of his life as possible. So he created a new page that we've all joined, and so people have been posting well wishes, and hopefully that it extends his life and something can be done in the meantime. It's so crazy, like good people like getting sick like this, and he's only I don't know, like he's in his late 60s. I think he's like 67, 68. So he's not like a young guy, and he's not old. So, but he's a very sweet man, and yeah.
And not that there's, a silver lining to terrible news like that, but he's going to get to spend, the next couple months for sure, learning exactly how much he meant, right?
Yeah.
to a bunch of communities.
Yeah.
So
even before
that's kind of cool too.
Yeah. That's what somebody else had said to me, but it's funny because every year George would like go around and like for the Wonder Woman shoot, he'd come out and we'd put our lassos around him and he'd talk to each and every one and remember each and every one of us and just ask like, how are you doing? How was this, and this? Like he kept up with people. And so it was very unique, like seeing such an icon, like talking to every single person and knowing them, like over the span of like 10 years. So I don't know. It's been hitting me quite hard this week.
And hitting like the whole Wonder Woman and DC and greater comic community. Like
yeah.
I don't remember a similar instance like this, right? Where you knew you were going to lose an icon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll step in and save my co-hosts here. But I want to give a shout out to you folks at home. Thank you for joining us this week and every week. If you're watching us live, thank you for taking the time. If you're watching us on replay, thank you also for taking the time. I want to thank our fine sponsors over at Kokomo Toys, who provided some giveaway material for us that we will get to again next week. So we will do the end of year giveaway and give you all the details on that next show, next Friday. But that's about it,
Ooh.
Quick.
I forgot something. The folks at G.I. Joeberg have a new video, stop motion, I think, dropping on YouTube tomorrow.
Oh.
And somebody may or may not be voicing an Iron Grenadier. So
I think they were trying to keep that a secret, but sure.
What? Sorry, man. It's pub.
It's dropping tomorrow.
You can't stop the pub. You can't stop the signal.
But let's just we'll wind it up here. Remember, we are still in a pandemic. Get yourself vaccinated. If you're eligible, get yourself a booster shot. Keep a mask on when you're in large groups of people. And let's go ahead and keep ourselves happy and safe through this holiday season. As our friend Vagon says, stay safe, and if you can't, keep careful. Until next week, thanks for joining us here on What's on Joe Mind. We will catch you next Friday at 9 for another episode of the TeamStream. Everybody have a great weekend. Yo, Joe.